Hi folks, welcome to your very first yoga class. In this class we're going to take it slow, we're going to explain things as we go, and you're going to find there are three parts to a typical yoga class. One part is the breath work, pranayama. All of my classes start with breath work and grounding, a bit of meditation in there too. And the third part is asana, and asana is the actual physical practice of yoga. It's the poses, it's the down dog, the up dog, the things that when you see them, you recognize them as being yoga. Now, that part is important, but not more important than the breath work or the meditation. So as you start to develop your practice, you want to make sure that you don't forget about your breath work and you don't forget about your meditation. They are just as important. All right. Roll out your mat if you haven't already. Have a seat. We're going to take it slow. Finding your comfortable seat, whatever that means for you. Now, most classes I teach open with that. And what that means is just to make yourself comfortable, because for the next few moments we're going to be in a meditative breath work. It can be a regular Indian style seat if that's comfortable for you. It could be up on a block if that's more comfortable. Something like this if that's comfortable for you. You can even have your legs straight out in front of you if that's what's comfortable for you. The position of the body isn't as important as the quality of the thought, the peace of the breath. Make yourself comfortable. Find your comfortable seat. Let the eyes fall closed. Start to pull your attention inward. Start to notice the sensations on your skin, what's going on inside of your body, maybe the sound of your own breath. Now relax the shoulders, down away from the ears. Let the shoulder blades slide down the back. Imagine a little thread connected to the crown of your head, sitting you up just a little bit taller than usual. Then bring your attention to your breath, not trying to control it, but notice what is your baseline. How are you arriving to your practice today? Then soften through the rib cage, soften through the whole chest cavity, and let your diaphragm drop. Let those inhales start to fill that whole chest space, that whole belly space. Make sure that belly expands as you inhale. With each breath, a little bit deeper and a little bit longer than the one before. Now, one of the many goals of this breath work is to transition from the sympathetic nervous system into the parasympathetic nervous system. You might even feel that occur. All right, our next breathing exercise is going to be to try to really focus the mind as much as possible and to slow the breath as much as possible. So with the eyes closed, envision yourself counting on a chalkboard as you inhale. When it's time to exhale, do the same but in reverse. Each round through, adding one more digit, lengthening the breath just that much more. Slowing the breath. Focusing that attention inward. Good. Wherever you are, take the biggest, deepest inhale of the day. Fill that whole chest space, that whole belly space. Exhale through the mouth with a sigh. Get that last bit of air out. And relax. So hopefully you notice a pretty profound change in your body right now, probably in your thinking too. Your mind is probably cleared and slowed, your breath is deeper, smoother, longer, and your body's more relaxed. That's the point of pranayama, that's the point of meditation, one of the points. Now into our asana practice. Inhaling the arms out and up. Bringing the palms to touch. Exhaling down through heart center. Inhaling out and up. Bringing the palms to touch. Exhaling down through heart center. One more. Inhaling out and up. This time when the palms come to touch, interlace those fingers. Exhale, tip right. Make sure you keep that left sit bone down. And make sure you're not falling forward. Inhaling center. Exhaling left. Keeping that right sit bone down, keeping that right shoulder pulled back. Good. Inhaling center. Now bring that right palm to the floor, and this might be as far as you go, and that's fine. From here, we'll take one more big inhale. Then exhale, tip sideways. Same thing, make sure that left shoulder is pulled back. Now if you can, and probably you won't be able to at first, but as you progress, you can bring that forearm down, make sure that left sit bone is all the way down as well. Bringing the gaze to the palm, the eyes can be closed here. With your focus on the breath. Good. Actively reaching with those left fingers. Feel that stretch from the hip all the way through that side body. Then take a couple of big, deep inhales into that left side rib cage. Feel that stretch. Feel that expansion. Good. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling left. Take your time. Try to keep that right sit bone down, actively reaching through those fingertips. And a couple of big inhales into that right side ribcage. Feel that stretch, feel that expansion. Good. Inhaling back to center. Exhale, float those arms down. So it's a good time to talk about the sensations you should and shouldn't feel in yoga. In yoga, nothing hurts, ever. If it does, stop what you're doing, back out slowly or quickly if it's a sharp pain, and just take it easy from there, right? If you're in a twist, untwist. If you have your knees bent, straighten them out. Mosquito. One other thing to think about, we're not quite there yet, but when it comes time for forward folds, because the hamstrings are probably pretty tight at this point, the hamstrings are going to keep your pelvis from rocking forward. Now if your pelvis can't rock forward, then all of that bend is going to come from your low back, and that's going to cause pain. In addition to pain, if you have any issues with your low back, if you have any weakness or an area where a disc is thinking about herniating, that's where it'll do it. Especially if you're folding forward and then maybe pulled on your toes or lifting up quickly or something like that. So whenever we do a forward fold, it's from the hips. It's not from the low back. Now, if you find that your pelvis is not moving when you try and do a forward fold, then you need to bend your knees. That'll allow more length in the hamstrings, and that'll allow the pelvis to tip forward safely. Okay? We're not there yet, but keep that in mind. All right, so our first twist, we're going to place our right fingers behind us. Really sit that spine tall. Bring that left hand to the right knee. We're going to inhale even taller. Then we're going to exhale, twist with that belly first. Now we're not pulling hard here, just gentle movement. Shift the rib cage. Twist with the shoulders. And then finally the gaze. think about growing taller with each inhale and twisting just a little bit deeper with each exhale. Never forcing, especially with the neck. There's no reason to crank the neck. Just look to a comfortable spot. Good. One more big inhale here. Exhale, return that gaze to center, followed by the body. Right hand, left knee, left hand behind. Inhale tall. Exhale, twist belly first. Then the ribs. Then the shoulders. And finally the gaze. Growing taller with each inhale, twisting just a little bit deeper with each exhale. Good. One more big inhale here. Then exhale, return that gaze to center, followed by the rest of the body. All right, so our next pose is going to be tabletop. How we get there is going to be up to you. If you feel safe in rolling forward over your knees, go for it. If you don't, or if it's really difficult, swing your feet out to the side, and that's okay too. Okay, so just come to a tabletop. Hips over knees, shoulders over wrists. Now take a big inhale here. Exhale, sit back into what's called child's pose. So we're going to bring our big toes to touch behind us. And then back our hips all the way down to our heels. Resting the forehead to the floor. Now for a lot of people, you might have just realized, whoa, my head gets nowhere near the floor. And that happens a lot. Or maybe your hips don't come to your heels. That's okay. It's going to be a work in progress for a while, right? So a couple of things that can make life easier if your head is pretty close to the floor but not quite making it, spread the knees wider. That will usually let you come down. Now if your hips aren't making it to your heels, that's just going to take time. Each time that you go into child's pose, think about shifting that weight back. Okay? So into your child's pose, let yourself relax. Try to let all of your joints relax into place. Think about letting as many muscles relax as you can. This should be an extremely restful pose. All right, big inhale, shifting forward to that tabletop. Our next pose is cat pose. If you think of a frightened Halloween cat, press the ground away, arch through the spine, tuck the tailbone, drop your gaze to your navel. Cat pose. Our next pose is cow pose. So take a big inhale. Let your belly drop, let your tailbone lift, let your gaze gently lift. And that is cow pose. Now we're going to transition between cat and cow. So as you exhale, press that ground away, tuck that tailbone, arch that spine, drop the gaze to the navel. As you inhale, let that belly drop, tailbone lift, gaze gently lift, cow pose. Exhale, press that ground away, arch the spine, tuck the tailbone, gaze drops. Inhale, cow pose, belly drops, tailbone lifts, gaze gently lifts, big inhale. Cat pose, exhale, press that ground away, tuck that tailbone, gaze drops. And return that spine to neutral. One more big inhale here. Exhale, set back into your child's pose. Bring those big toes to touch, hips down to the heels, forehead to the ground. All right. Now reach those hands way out in front of you. You want to plant the palms down at least shoulder distance apart. Spread the fingers wide like a starfish. Then tuck your toes under. Lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. This is another pose where people, when they do it for the first time, they get into it and they're like, oh my God, it looked so easy and not so much. So a real common thing here is that your wrists might start to hurt, and that might be because you're here instead of here. So think about shifting as much weight back out of the shoulders and into the hips as you can. You might need to bend the elbows to be able to do that. Or, I'm sorry, bend the knees to be able to do that. If you need to bail out, go ahead. You can drop the knees, sit back into your child's pose, or stay here. Start developing that strength. Okay, moving forward. Look between the hands. Step that right foot forward. And we'll start there, right? For a lot of people, the foot doesn't come forward. The foot will come maybe to here. And it's a bit of a work to get it forward. Now, if you do step it straight forward, it comes between the hands, fantastic. You're ahead of the curve. If it's stuck back here somewhere, what you can do is set that other knee down and bring that foot forward. If you can't do it with the strength of your leg, grab onto it. Lift it, pull it forward, set it down, right? Once you get yourself situated, we're going to drop this left heel down so that the foot is parallel with the back edge of the mat. Our front knee is basically over our ankle. Our front toes are pointing straight forward, okay? Now we're going to cartwheel ourselves up. Woo. Warrior two. Once you're up in Warrior two, you want to take a look at your hips. Hips should be parallel to the side of the mat. Shoulders should be parallel to the side of the mat. Arms extended. The only thing looking forward is your gaze. Down that right arm, across that middle fingertip. Think about softening the shoulders down away from the ears here. Warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. All right, we're headed for reverse warrior, so keep the lower body just the way it is. Flip that front palm, reach forward, big inhale. Exhale, sweep back through your space. That left arm can trace down that left leg. Gaze coming either up to that top palm or down to that back foot, whichever is more comfortable for your neck. One way isn't better than the other. Feel that stretch in that right side body. Reach with those fingers. Good. Now engage the core. Inhale, come back, Warrior two. Side angle pose. Don't let the hips move. As you exhale, tipping forward, bringing that right forearm down to that right thigh. Gaze coming up to those left fingers if you can. They can also come down to that front toe, and that's fine too. Side angle. Good. Engage that core. Inhaling back to Warrior two. Now extend that front knee, that right knee. Kick out that left hip. Reach, 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 big inhale. Exhale, tipping sideways, not folding forward at all here. Keeping that left shoulder on top of that right shoulder. Triangle pose. Now you might be here, and that's totally okay. Wherever you feel your stretch is exactly where you should be. It doesn't matter how deep you are in the pose, as long as you're feeling your stretch, you're getting your benefit, right? Now, a lot of times, I'll see people with their right hip that comes way out, and they'll be bent forward. This means you've gone down too far. Come up until you can tuck that right hip under and pull that left shoulder back, and that'll be the spot for you. Good. Put a bend in that knee. Engage the core. Inhale, back, warrior two. Good. Okay. Things are about to get tricky. Cartwheel the arms down. Come up on those back toes. Step that front foot back to downward dog. All right, looking between your hands, step that left foot forward. Right heel pivots down parallel to the back edge of the mat. Cartwheeling the arms up, warrior two. Now check your hips, make sure they're as parallel as possible to the side of the mat. They don't have to be perfectly parallel, right? Foot parallel to the back edge of the mat, as parallel as possible. Again, doesn't need to be perfect. Knee basically over the ankle, front toes pointing forward, arms extended. Gaze down that left arm across that left middle fingertip, and think about softening the shoulders down away from the ears. Warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Good. Now flip that front palm, reach forward, big inhale. Exhale, sweep back through your space, reverse warrior. Right hand tracing down that right leg, gaze coming up to that left palm or down to that right foot, whichever is more comfortable for you. Make sure you keep a bend in that front knee. A lot of times I'll see students as they go back, that front leg extends, but keep that bend. Active reach with those left fingers. Feel that stretch through that left side body. All right, engage that core. Inhaling back, warrior two. Now don't let the hips move, don't let the lower body move. Exhale, tipping sideways into side angle. That right shoulder is stacked on top of the left, not coming forward. Gaze is either up at that top thumb or down at that front toe. Good, engage that core. Inhale back, warrior two. Good. Now extend that front leg, kick out that right hip. Reach, 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 big inhale. Exhale, tip sideways. Make sure that left hip stays tucked under. That right shoulder stays pulled back. You don't want to be here. Make sure you're here. And again, wherever it is that you feel your stretch, it could be up here and that's awesome. Wherever it is. Just make sure that left hip stays tucked under, and that right shoulder stays pulled back. All right. Put a bend in that front knee, engage that core. Inhale back, warrior two. All right. Cartwheeling the arms down, coming up on those back toes, step that front foot back to downward dog. Okay. Now looking between your hands, hop or walk those feet forward. Inhale yourself to a halfway lift. So think about having a very flat back here. Then exhale, forward fold. Put as much of a bend in the knees as you want to here to make sure that that low back isn't rounding. You might be here, and that's okay. Wherever it is that you feel that stretch in the hamstrings and aren't rounding through the low back. Okay, now you might try bringing your elbows into your hands here, maybe with a gentle rock. All right, put a bend in those knees, engage that core, thinking reverse swan dive, inhale, rise. Good. We're gonna do some sun stretches. And usually we do this at the very beginning of class, but I wanted to make sure that your hamstrings were a bit warm before we went for it. So big inhale here. Exhale, forward fold with that swan dive. Inhale to that flat back, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Engage the core, thinking reverse swan dive, inhale, rise. These are called sun stretches. We're gonna do a couple more, just like that. Exhale, forward fold. Keep that gaze lifted, keep that heart lifted on the way down. Inhale, halfway lift with that very flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise. Good. One more, just like that. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, very flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Engage that core, think reverse swan dive, inhale, rise. Good. Now exhale those arms down to the sides. We're gonna try a little bit of balance and see how we are, right? So to get set up for a balance, we do something called parabanda, and that's just getting a good grip on the floor with your foot, right? So we'll spread the toes out, we'll lift that arch, get a good grip on the floor, okay? Now, if you have a pretty thick mat, you're gonna find that being on your mat makes it really wobbly, and you might wanna step straight onto the floor. That might help. If you need to go for a wall or a chair or whatever you have handy, go for it, okay? So get that grip with that left foot, pull that right foot into your version of tree pose. So there's options here. You can have the toes on the floor and just pull the heel of your right foot onto your left ankle, right? That counts. If you feel solid there, you can bring that foot to the calf. And if you have the flexibility and the balance, you can bring the foot all the way up to the thigh and take your tree pose there, okay? So whatever version you're in, once you get there, firm that standing leg. Slightly tuck the tailbone. That's gonna make you stand up taller on that leg. Pull the belly button to the spine and lift. Then bring your attention to that right knee. If it's kind of coming forward, press it back. Now you can do anything that you want to with your hands here. Heart center is nice. You can also have them out to the side or up. quiet, steady mind usually will translate into a quiet, steady body. If you can't find your balance, check in with your mind. Good. One more big inhale here. Exhale, release it down. Get a Padavana with that right foot, spread those toes, lift that arch, get a good grip. Then bring that left foot into your version of tree pose. Whether it's on the ankle, on the calf, or all the way up on the thigh. Once you're there, firm that standing leg, slightly tuck the tailbone, pull that belly button to the spine and lift. Then bring your attention to that left knee. Is it coming forward? Probably. It is on most people. Press it back just a little bit more. Good. Then anything you want to do with the hands. They can stay at heart center. They can go out, up. Good. One more big inhale. Exhale, release it down. All right. Have a seat on your mat. Once you've been in classes for a while, you'll know this is the time to get excited because we're done with all the hard stuff, right? All right. Now just extend those feet out in front of you. And we're going to give our feet a little bit of attention here. So spread those toes as wide as you can and pull them back towards you. You should feel your shins activate, and you should be able to see light through each of your toes, or at least that's the goal. Now, if you haven't paid any attention to your feet over the years, maybe you've worn, especially the ladies with the pointy-toed shoes, you might not see any light at all when you're trying to spread your toes. But with time, you will. I have a lady in class, she's 72, and when we started, her toes, they were like welded together, you know? And now you can see light through each toe. So with practice, it'll come. All right, make knuckles with those toes. Find the arch of your foot and lift. Now, if you've never done that before, it's gonna be a weird sensation and you're kind of gonna have no idea where, but explore the sensations in your feet. Find the center of the foot and lift. Eventually, you'll find it. Don't squeeze too hard that you get cramps, right? Good. Spread those toes, pull them back. Activate through the shins. Good. Make knuckles with those toes. Find that center of the foot and lift. So if you're ever in Puerto Vallarta, this is our studio here, and the hummingbirds are fantastic, and it's a really awesome place to practice. So if you're ever here, come and visit us. Yeah? All right, relax those toes. We're going to come into bottoms of the feet together. I'm spacing on the name right now. Baddha Konasana. So bottoms of the feet together, and it may be something like this, right? Just try to pull them in as much as you can. Try to get the knees down as much as you can. Pay attention to any sensations you feel in the knees here. If you feel anything, back out a little bit. There's no muscles in knees. So if you're feeling anything, it's not good, right? So don't try and push through it. If you're feeling a sensation, back out. And that's true of any of our yoga poses. If you feel a sensation in a joint, back out. There's nothing in there that you want to be stretching. All right. Now think about rolling back and down with those thighs. And if you've come down pretty far and you feel pretty good, lift that heart, you can start to shift forward. Now that'll intensify everything, right? Now the whole time you're coming forward, think about rolling back and down with those thighs the whole time. And wherever you are is just fine. The important thing is that you don't feel any sensation in the knees and that you're getting a nice stretch through the hips. All right, extend those legs, roll out those hip sockets. Good. Now extend that left leg, tuck that right leg. Now we're going to bring the fingers to the mat, lift ourselves up a little bit, pull the tailbone back, rock the pelvis forward. Now that probably just turned on a whole stretch of that hamstring. Maybe you're fine right here. Maybe you don't need to go down any farther, and that's okay, right? Otherwise, if you feel like you can go farther, inhale the arms up. Exhale, reach, 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 reach as you come down. Then soften into place. Now sometimes I'll see students going to war here. I'll see them, with like that tough, I can do it, type of a face. That's not going to help. That kind of a mindset is going to make the hamstring lock up and it's not going to let you go any farther. Think about surrendering to your hamstring. Think about making peace with it. It is the boss, you're just here for the ride, and soften in. Softening in will allow it to stretch. Going to war with it will make it tighten up and you won't get any deeper. All right, bring your fingers to the mat, press yourself up. Now, the reason we do this is because we don't want to engage those low back muscles right away, right? So try not to engage the back muscles as you come up out of those forward folds. Okay, this is going to be our first back bend, and it's a fairly simple one, but it can be confusing to get into, especially if you've never seen it before or never done it before. So what we're going to do is we're going to scoot to the left side of our mat. We're going to bring the foot to our knee, so right foot to that left knee. Okay? We're going to bring the right fingers behind, they're pointing back. Okay, now it gets tricky. Sweep across, lift the hips, point the left toes, press the hips forward. Once you get up, swing that right foot back towards that right wrist, and then press through that right hip. Open that heart to the sky. Good. Now think about finding as much length in the spine as you can here, especially that low back. And one more big inhale. Exhale, slowly, gently lower yourself back down. Good. Extend that right leg, tuck that left leg. Bring the fingers to the mat, lift yourself up, pull that tailbone back. Rock that pelvis forward. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, reaching, reaching, reaching as you come down. Then soften in and relax. Now it's quite possible that you're here or somewhere here, right? If you're up here, bring the hands down. Try not to round too much through that upper back, so try and keep the heart lifted and just let your weight gently come forward. All right, bring those fingers to the mat. Use them to press yourself up. Try not to engage that lower back. Scooch to the right side of the mat. Bring that left foot to the knee. Left fingers behind. Sweep yourself up. Point those right toes. Press forward with those hips. Sweep that left foot back towards that left wrist. Press through that left hip. Open the heart to the sky. Lengthening that spine as much as you can here, especially through the low back. Good. One more big inhale. Exhale. Gently, slowly sweep your way down. All right. We have come to the boat pose portion of our show. I've never met anybody that loves boat pose, but I think we all probably could use a stronger core, so we do it, right? So bring those bottoms of the feet together. Bring the knees in. Now it's important here that you don't let yourself round down through your low back. If you do, you're going to end up with a heck of a backache, and it's no good for anybody, right? So make sure that low back stays tucked in. As we're in our boat pose, the more fatigued you get, the more it's naturally going to happen. So anytime that starts to happen, reach behind your thighs, pull it back in, and let go. If it immediately rounds down again, go ahead and keep your hands there for the rest of the boat pose, and that's okay. All right? All right. So pull that low back in, tip back. Extend the legs if you want to. Boat pose. Now, if you feel like adding on here, go for it. If you like to do the crunches or the, Pilates type legs, go for it. Anything that you want to here. So in class, we go for a minute. We're just going to go for 30 seconds here. All right. Big inhale. Exhale, roll back, squeeze your knees. Gently rock yourself from side to side. Massage out that low back. All right. Now taking a big inhale. Exhale, let those knees drop to the right side. You want to try to keep that left shoulder down, but if it doesn't stay, it's no big deal. I often use the weight of my hand just to kind of hold that left knee down. If that gives you too much torque in your back, though, don't do it. So the proper drishti, or focal point for this pose, is the left hand. So if it feels okay, it feels good on your neck to look to the left, go ahead and do that. But it's also fine to keep your head in the center, or even look in the same direction as your knees if your neck is not feeling great. All right, gently bring those knees back to center. And when I say gently, for me, I usually move them one knee at a time. And that doesn't create any tension on that low back, right? Give yourself another squeeze, big inhale. Exhale, let those knees drop to the left. Try to keep that right shoulder down if you can. Not a big deal if it doesn't stay there. Now, if your knees are like up here, you can prop some stuff underneath those knees too, and then rest into whatever you have available. If you have blocks, that's great, or bolsters or blankets. If you just have a coat, that'll work too. All right. Gently bring those knees back to center. Give yourself another big squeeze, big inhale. Lift your head up towards your knees this time. Get that full back stretch. Our next pose is Savasana, also known as corpse pose. So take a big inhale. Exhale, extend into Shavasana. So you can bring your feet to the floor and walk them out. You can extend them straight out, but this puts a lot of tension, a lot of stress on that low back. So depending how you feel, what your goals are, bring those feet to the mat, walk them out, or just extend them straight forward. Once you get there, take a moment and get yourself as comfortable as you can. Maybe tuck under the shoulder blades. Maybe lift the neck, tuck the chin, and lay that long neck down. A lot of students, they don't realize it, but when they're laying down, they have their chin sticking way out. That activates the sympathetic nervous system. We want to be in the parasympathetic. So think about tucking that chin, laying that head down. Make sure those palms are up. They can be as close or as far away from your body as you like. A lot of teachers will insist that they have to be right next to your sides, but I don't agree with that. Wherever feels the most comfortable. Then just let yourself relax. Relaxing the forehead. Relaxing the eyebrows. All of those little muscles around the eyes, relax them, let them go. Softening the cheeks, letting them melt down towards the ears. Relaxing the jaw. Letting the tongue fall away from the roof of the mouth. With each exhale, feeling your body pressing heavier and heavier into your mat. With each exhale, falling deeper and deeper into relaxation. For these next few moments, just relax. Starting to bring your awareness back into your body. Maybe wiggling your fingers, maybe wiggling your toes. Maybe reaching your arms overhead for a big full body stretch. And when you're ready, rolling onto whichever side is the most comfortable for you, using your arm as a pillow, savoring these last few moments of relaxation. Now, using as little effort as possible, make your way up to a comfortable seat, keeping your eyes closed or lowered. Now, a lot of people here will just boing up, and that drives me a little bit crazy. what you want to do, if you're on your side, use your left hand, roll yourself forward, use that left hand to press yourself gently up. That's the lowest impact on the body, lowest impact on the mind. You can keep that calm, meditative mindset as you come to your comfortable seat. Now take a moment here, feel into your body. Hopefully you feel some extra spark of life in those cells. Hopefully the breath is a little bit deeper, smoother. Now in a moment, we're going to close our class with a namaste. And what does namaste mean? There's a lot of different interpretations. The one that I like the most is the best in me bows to the best in you. It's simple, it's clear, and it's really what it means too. It's me saying thank you for being here, thank you for being a great student on your journey, and for you, hopefully, you're bowing to me saying thank you for being my teacher, that sort of thing. So, inhaling the arms out and up. Bring the palms to touch. Exhale down through heart center. Inhaling out and up. Now in your mind's eye, see yourself grabbing a handful of divine universal energy. Exhale, pull it down to heart center. Feel the warmth. See the glow. Last time. Inhale the arms out and up. Bringing the palms to touch. Exhaling down to the third eye for the mind. Exhaling to heart center for the body and spirit. Namaste. I hope you enjoyed your class today. Hope it made some sense. And I hope you join us for some more. Have a great day.